Hi, it's Brett the Herbalist, and today I'm here to talk to you about addiction and withdrawals and how we can manage addiction and withdrawals using natural things like food and herbs and also the power of our minds. So addiction starts from a very, very early age, the whole pattern. It's a natural human tendency, and quite a large percentage of us suffer with some kind of addiction, and I think most of us have some kind of vice. But it grows from a small thing into quite a big thing over time. And there's a number of reasons for that. And what I thought I'd do first of all is talk about how it begins, and then talk about the chemistry of addiction and withdrawals, because it's really good to get your head around and understand this from the outset, and you'll get a much better result with the program. And what I'm going to give you is a program that takes you step by step through how to conquer these addictive patterns and the withdrawal symptoms that go with detoxing and getting off substances. So it starts, you could say, from the moment we can walk and talk, we start with this behavior of we need something, we want something, and there's a disappointment when we don't get it. And so we have these mood swings, up and down, up and down. And then we start getting food, the effects of food. And of course, one of the first things you experience as a child is sugar. So what sugar does, and there's been a lot of studies that have shown it to be true, is it has an opioid effect. So it gives us an instant feeling of release of pain, feeling of happiness, and all those things at the same time. So sugar is like a drug, and it's the first drug that we experience as children. And then as we get older, we start to move on from the sugar and the food addictions into things that are a little bit stronger, like caffeine and other stimulants that are used in food products as well. And of course, there's a lot of these additives, enhancers, flavor enhancers, things that are stronger than sugar, processed and synthesized compounds that are put into drinks and so on. And so these substances can become quite addictive. And we all know about caffeine, how hard it is to get off caffeine and the headaches that go with that. So we go from simple foods to more complex and more powerful foods. Caffeine is a great example. And then often in our teenage years, we start experimenting with alcohol and experiencing the ups and downs of alcohol. The hangover the day after is a great example, and the highs that come with alcohol and the lows that come afterwards. So things just naturally progress from a smaller cycle into a larger cycle, up and down. And so our brain chemistry and our neurochemistry becomes habituated, and we start to develop patterns. And of course, with every high comes an equally heavy low. And so what we're searching for is that high again, and it takes more each time to reach that high. So we go from foods to caffeine to stimulants to alcohol, and then we go on to recreational drugs. Quite often it's the natural progression, and then hard drugs are at the end of the line. And of course, those are the hardest to get off. And reason being is that cycle becomes larger each time. So the low, the high, the low, and the high. We keep looking for a bigger high because it's harder to reach. It requires more of the same substance to get that high. And so there's a never-ending cycle of disappointment when we hit the low again. And it's that cycle of disappointment and happiness that really sets us up for long-term addiction and real problems. So what are we really missing? Apart from these substances that interfere with our chemistry and cause this pattern, what is it that we're really looking for? And ultimately, it's some kind of happiness or peace and happiness seem to go together. And so, of course, peace can only be found when we've got a steady, stable condition in our body, which is called homeostasis or health. And so that's what a healthy condition is. A healthy condition is a nice, steady, balanced body chemistry. And you could say hormonal, things like neurotransmitters and hormones, they all need to be in balance. And so our body has this constant, I guess you'd call a job on its hands of attempting to maintain that balance. And that's why when you get the highs, you get the lows, because there's a natural rebound as your body is trying to regain its balance. So that's the story of addiction, really, when you think about it. And the other thing to add to that is what we might be missing, apart from nutrients in food, which is a big, big problem because the processed food industry is stripping nutrients from food and giving us hollow food devoid of nutrients. But so is our society. And our society is doing it on a more emotional and mental level. it's creating the same pattern. And so if you look back historically, and media and music and things like that are great examples. Historically, they've constantly gone to this point of extending the boundaries and the lines between what's acceptable, what's good and what's not good. And so we're basically left, in a sense, devoid of spiritual and mental and emotional nutrition as well. So what we tend to do is get hooked on more extreme violence or sexual or aggressive kind of movies and music and things, and that creates another pattern where we're always looking for the next great or the next extreme thing that we can see or listen to or be part of. And so that's an emotional, mental, and a spiritual addictive pattern. And so that leaves us disappointed all the time as well. So that's a really interesting thing. Whereas a sense of peace and harmony and balance is going to bring us freedom from an addictive pattern. So that's a great thing, a way to think of it is happiness is actually peace. And so always searching for a greater high or a greater sense of entertainment or something that's more exciting, adrenal excitement, that becomes heavily addictive. And at the same time, when you find peace, you find happiness, you find health, your body starts to generate those blissful hormones by itself more naturally. And you can experience, an extreme sense of happiness when you find peace. And I've had experiences myself. I'm not, exempt from addiction, and I've certainly gone through a lot of that, and with smoking and with drinking and other things. And so, of course, I can speak from experience. And when I found herbal medicine, I realised that, hey, maybe this is something we're missing. Maybe this is something that's missing in our society, our medical system, the treatments that are offered. Missing herbal medicine. And so, of course, in herbal medicine, one of the first things you learn is that healing starts with nutrition and food. And plants are the biggest part of that. So meat and animal products provide with proteins and fats, but the other nutrients our body needs, they're called micronutrients and phytonutrients. There are literally thousands of them. And we know about vitamins, we know minerals, we know there's a few essential things that we attribute, vital nutrients. And so often those are missing in our diets, and we need to get supplements or to supplement those things to bring them in. And they have started fortifying some foods. But herbs contain a whole different spectrum, a whole different range of nutrients that are healing. So they contain things like oils. Oils there's a big range of oils, not just oils that you cook with, but there are a huge range of what they call volatile oils, and we know about essential oils, the oils that you can smell, the aromas, the flavors that you pick up from foods are oils. So those are the scents and the smells, and those are hugely healing and beneficial. Herbs also contain a vast range of antioxidants, polysaccharides, steroidal saponins, so these are hormonal compounds, but literally thousands of different compounds are in herbs. And so in traditional practices around the world, they provide herbal medicines long-term into the diet. So you've got your culinary herbs and spices, and there's a huge range of those also, which are greatly beneficial to the brain and the nervous system. And so what I do is I include those in the diet plan for addictions and withdrawals. So there's a big range of recipes. There's a lot of herbs and spices included in the diet plan. And we also introduce the herbs, so the medicinal herbs. And I'm just going to show you briefly. This is one of the products. It's called Brain Glow. So this has got a lot of herbs in it for the brain. So this has got your ginkgo, gotu kola, and bacopa, which helps with the neurotransmission and the stability of the brain chemistry, among other herbs that are in that. Then we've also got these herbs, which this is in a capsule powder form, and this is called Satisfed, and this is the tea Satisfed. So the capsules and the tea, these both contain craving cutters, craving controllers, and also herbs that help with your energy levels, so you feel more stable and more energy through the day, and that reduces the cravings. So that's a big part of our addictive pattern, is that craving cycle. And then we also do these different forms of detox. So the detox cleanses the body, the gut, the colon, the liver. You can do that in a powder form, which is this one here, body cleanse. And then lastly, we do the option, which has also got more protein in it. This has got all of the craving cutting herbs and the detox herbs in a lower dose. So you can use this one for the slower, more gentle, maybe 1 month or 2 months or 3 months of detoxing and getting off those bad habits. So that's the way we do it. There's several options. You can choose to go with just with the liquid, the brain liquid and the Satisfed, so for the cravings, or you can add in the detox if you want to do the cleanse and get the substances out of your body at the same time through the liver and the bowels and kidneys. So I suggest looking at the different options and choosing the one that's right for you. And we're there to help you all the way through, and you will find a lot of information around all the herbs if you really want to dig in and understand how the herbs help with the healing of your body. But the big thing I suggest is take it in steps. Don't sort of go instantly cold turkey or whatever. Reduce things as you're introducing the herbs. So introducing the herbs, introduce the food, the culinary herbs and spices more and more into your diet. And also the other thing we offer is what I call unconditional energy healing, which is I give you a method to tap into healing energy, which is a universal thing that's available to us all. Whether you believe in spiritual things or not, it's a simple concept. It's a bit like sunshine. That life energy and that life force is available to all living things, and so it is with healing energy. It's a universal healing energy. It's available to all living, all human beings on the planet. And all I do is I teach a method for you to understand how you can tap into that. And you've probably heard of things like meditation and yoga, and there's a lot of different arts around the world which basically are all doing the same thing, which is helping you to tap into that universal source of life energy and healing energy. So have a look at the energy healing book as well, because it's a healing process in itself. Even just reading the book and learning to understand the basic functions of energy flow and how you can tap into that, because you combine the herbs, the food and the energy healing together, and you've got a real solution to long-term addictive behaviors. So make the commitment to yourself, have a good look at the information, and just start with the first steps. And it might be just having a look at the Addiction Herbal Healing Program, download the book, have a read through the book, and ask any questions you've got, and feel free to contact us at any time. We're here to help, and hopefully we can get you on the path to freedom and to peace and health. And I look forward to helping you on this journey.